And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone who is tuning in to this edition of the Weighing In podcast. Josh and I are back from Chicago. There were some great fights there for Bellator. There was the UFC in Las Vegas, where we had the main event fall out. Derek Lewis got sick, so Spivak did not have a chance to match up against the Black Beast. That is too bad. I hope that Derek is doing better. But there was a lot going on in the combat sports world. There was boxing. There was ONE FC. There was bare knuckle boxing. So many things for us to talk about. All this good stuff happening. And then there is my man, the Punk, sitting there looking sharp, happy, can hardly keep his eyes open.
It is 5 a.m. here on Sunday morning, and I was up really late last night because I had a Big John experience with American Airlines.
Oh!
Mine was with Delta, but it wasn't anything bad. What happened was my flight was late I was on the tarmac getting out of there because they had to defrost or de-ice the plane out of Chicago. So we sat on the tarmac out there for about an hour. Then I had such a short window to catch my connecting flight in Seattle that they just switched my flight automatically. The worst part is that I actually landed about 20 minutes in time to catch my original flight.
But you weren't on it anymore.
But I wasn't on it anymore, so they couldn't switch me back. But my bags made that flight.
All right.
So my bags made
That's why I never check bags.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never.
Just going to Seattle, man. Or not Seattle, but Chicago. It was freaking cold. It was so cold. 1 block walk to the venue. Not even that, just across the street and around the corner real quick. And there we were. It was still freezing. So my bags are now in San Francisco, baggage claim. And they switched my flight into San Jose, which was good. It worked out perfectly because I got in earlier than I was not supposed to, but I got in earlier than the flight they put me on. Just, the travel experiences during the winter is not always the best.
Wonderful.
But it was fine. I got a good night's sleep. I met this older woman that lived from Georgia, and she actually used to go to summer camp in Dublin, Georgia.
No
all
kidding.
The time. Yeah, so we just got to talking about Anthony Johnson a little bit, and it was just random. She's from Georgia, born and raised there, and she used to go to summer camps in Dublin, and then now she lives in Durham, North Carolina, right outside of Raleigh. Yeah,
Raleigh,
so
Durham.
she was the sweetest. She just turned 80. She's coming out to California to visit her brother. She sees her brother once a year, and it was pretty cool. It was good. It was so nice to hear about all the stories. She has some old school stories. It was awesome. So, I sometimes you enjoy, when you're sitting next to somebody and they start talking to you and they're great conversation, and sometimes you're like, just leave me alone, just put the hat over my eyes and just leave me alone. But something about her, she was wearing a mask. She was older, so she was wearing a mask, but she just had a great smile. It seemed like her face kind of lit up a little bit when she was talking about the history of growing up in Georgia and things like that. So it was cute to see. It was great. All right, but hey, before we all get started on all this fight talk, and I was up till late last night watching as much as I could before I finally just crashed out on the couch and woke up at like 3 a.m. I was like, you know what? I should probably get a little bit of sleep in my own bed. So before we get started, go to mybookie.ag, use our promo code weighing in. And hopefully if you guys listen to us, you go to make a little extra spending cash, with our suggestions and our thoughts on the fights that had happened, whether it was Bellator, UFC, or anything. So, hey, I want to thank you guys for continuing to support our show and everything we do. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's move on. Let's go right to the fight talk. All right, let's just kind of slip by all this commercial nonsense.
Smoke through it.
And let's go right into the UFC. UFC 2, it's actually, what, 86?
Vegas 65.
80, 65?
Vegas 65.
Oh,
Vegas
Vegas 65.
65.
I thought you said 80-65. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, it could be
Dave?
80-65.
Okay. Well, we had the whole card just pretty much start to fall apart where they had like 2 or 3 fights canceled. Bellator had the same though. We had 3 fights. 3 fights fell off. Well, 1 fight fell off like two and a half weeks before, but that fight's now put on Connecticut. Jornal Lugo and
Jalen Bates.
And Jalen Bates. That fight, that was supposed to be a really good fight. That fight got pushed to Connecticut now.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, let's talk. John, go ahead. Take us away, buddy, on where you want to start.
Oh, well, you got to start at the top, and you got to start with, Ian Cutelaba against Kennedy Nzechukwu, who, man, every time I watch him, he's a tough dude. He really is, and I really enjoy watching. He's tall. He's got a lot of range. He takes abuse, and you think, uh-oh, he's in trouble. And then he comes back from it. He shows that not only can he be the hammer, at times he can be the nail and survive that situation and come out of it and get the win. And look, when he hit Cutelaba, you could see Cutelaba is that guy that you look and he is very strong. He's athletic, but he is that one-directional, linear approach of fighting. He's going to come at you, swing hard. He's going to try to take you down and maul you. And he was doing that for that first part of the fight, and in the second part, didn't go so well. He took a big shot, and it's obvious that Kennedy's got power, and he put him away. And he put him away with some nice shots. The fight should have been stopped. It was a good stoppage and nice win by Kennedy.
Yeah, I thought Kennedy did a great job. I know the first round didn't go his way. It was very obvious, and he was kind of stuck on bottom, I think, until towards the end. And but John, it's extremely difficult to come back from a round where nothing went your way and just shake it off and say, okay, I'm coming. I gotta fix this.
Short memories are good things.
I gotta make sure I don't get taken down. I gotta make sure that I keep my distance. Protect my hips, all of those things, and still let my hands go so I start to win the round. He did a fantastic job.
He did.
He did a great job.
He shook off the first round like it was nothing and came out and just did what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. In the second round, he did what he was supposed to do in the first.
And when Cutelaba couldn't get a takedown in the second round, you just saw, it was almost like, remember when I was talking about Carla Esparza, how like she can't get a takedown, starts kind of wilt a little bit, starts putting her back to the fence, kind of like
body language, you can see it.
Exactly. And but it happened a lot quicker with Cutelaba. Yeah. So you could just tell he was stuck going, crap, if I can't get this fight back down to the ground, I'm in a lot of trouble. He expended a lot of energy in that first round, controlling the top position. When you're dealing with someone who's long, someone who's obviously very strong in Kennedy, it's difficult to hold them down. They're moving. You're using a lot of strength to hold them in those positions. I thought Cutelaba, he did some good things, but as that fight went on, he realized he wasn't going to get back in there. He wasn't able to get him to the ground, and he started taking the shots from distance. And he's the shorter. Oh, the length and reach is not
the length
by a
and
lot.
Distance was a huge factor in this.
You start going. I've been in those situations where you just go, man, how am I going to get to this guy's legs? Like, how do I get in there? But the way to get in there, John, is how? Go ahead. How do you get in there?
First off, you've got to do multiple things combined. You can't just shoot from that position. Now I'm going to drop my head down and try to shoot into his legs. It's not going to work. You're going to end up in a bad position. So you've got to do three things. Basic three things. I got to move my feet. I got to use my hands to create at least a distraction in that I'm throwing shots at you to get your hands up to protect you or to try to throw a counter of your own. And that will move me into the position where hopefully I can get a hold of your body and then start to work towards my takedown.
It all just comes to you have to throw.
That's it.
You have to throw either kicks or punches. You've got to give feints to get them to react. You've got to do something. And I'm going to rag on my boy, too, a little bit, when we get to the Bellator talk with Patricio. But I'm going to stay with the UFC right now because it was a very similar type situation when you just didn't know what to do. And you froze. You were stuck. And in Cutelaba's case, he did great the first round. But in that second round, he froze. He's stuck. He started moving backwards, putting his back to the fence, just letting Kennedy dictate the shots and control the distance, which you cannot do against someone who's tall, long, and lanky. I mean, he's a big guy. He's a
6'5".
Jeez, man.
6'5".
Yeah, I have that problem. Got to duck my head when I walk into rooms and stuff to get through the doorway. I get it. Look, but overall, like, great performance by Kennedy. Showed a lot. And if you don't think he showed a lot, then you weren't watching. That's the biggest thing. I mean, like, there was a lot to take away from that. If I'm a promoter, if I'm a matchmaker, there was a lot to take away from that. So best of luck to him.
And I got to give it to him. he's had a couple of losses here, but overall, man, he's shown that, hey, anybody can get touched on the chin and get put out, and that happened to him. But he has shown that, hey, I'm not a guy that's going to stop. I can be put in bad positions, and I'll fight my way out of them. I'll work my way out of them to the point where I'm the guy doing the damage. And he's done that several times in the UFC. They got to look at him and go, hey, he's got a real shot at being somebody here. And he's got a great personality as far as he's not braggadocious, but he's just very upfront about, hey, I'm working hard. I'm doing these things. He loves his coach, at Fortis MMA. He's doing a great job, getting better all the time. I think he's someone that eventually he's going to be fighting for a title somewhere along the way. He just needs to keep improving.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say title yet, but I'm ready to say like probably top 8, top 5, somewhere in there. I could see him getting up in there. The other thing that we didn't bring up though is that all the focus goes off of the main event and goes on to them. That's a big pill to swallow. And if you don't think so, I've fought in plenty of main events, but guess what? When Matt Mitrione was supposed to fight Fedor in San Jose and my fight with Patricio got bumped to the main event, it fucks me a little bit. I don't know if it's because I was older or whatever, but like mental preparation goes into, I'm the main event. It's a little bit different. Things just feel a little bit different. Mentally, you feel like you prepare a little bit different. But he did a great job of making the adjustments. I thought Kutalaba did a great job too if he came out and exerted a lot of energy in the first, but that's a lot of pressure to take into a fight. Derek was a big name. Both these guys trying to fight for big names. And I thought they did. I thought they delivered in terms of their performances as a main event. Good job by both of them, though.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
Next fight.
Oh, we had Waldo Cortez Acosta against Chase Sherman. I look at this fight, man, and it's just look at Cortez Acosta undefeated still at this time. He's got good stand-up. He throws good shots. He likes the uppercut. He brings things to the inside a lot, throwing straight shots at times, looping shots at other. But Chase Sherman, man, people can say what they want. He's never going to be that guy. He's not going to be the guy that said, well, it's ever going to be in the top 15. Not going to happen. He's tough as hell, though, man. You got to, the guy's got heart. I hate to see guys that there was a moment in that second round when he was almost turning his back away from kind of trying to run away from him. And then you're seeing him get, take big shots and, he's doing everything he can. And you look and you go, oh man, he's right at that point of, could it have been stopped? Possibly. They didn't. And, he made his way all the way through it. Just a tough dude, though, man, because you know what? In the end, he was still throwing, and he was going after him. And you could just see the look on his face coming from that second round. They were showing, the camera was on him, and you looked at his face, and you looked at a guy that, man, all the damage he was now taking again. I'm just worried about Chase Sherman and how much damage he does take. Because every fight, Josh, just about every fight he's in there, he takes a ton of damage.
Yeah, and
it adds up, but man, the guy's got heart. I take nothing away from him. It's just that Cortez Acosta is just a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit better as far as the angles that he created to get the shots in. He's not ready for the top people like he was calling out, I guess, telling Dana, bring me anyone. He's not ready for that yet. Don't do it. No. But, good matchup. It was good competition. Obviously, Acosta did win the fight, but I got to give it up for Chase Sherman. You want to talk about a guy that the UFC should, say, give a plaque to or something. I don't know. They just kind of take care of. This guy comes in for them whenever. They bump him off of fights. They bring him into fights. He is as good a company man as you'll get for the UFC. And, they're going to drop him somewhere along the way here again. And then they'll try to bring him back because, they need a heavyweight because heavyweights are, not the easiest commodity to have. But I just want to give it up for him. He's a tough dude.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. John, for me, I feel like the issue is that he probably comes in pretty good shape, but then he takes so much shot. It's like your power in a video game just goes down.
Just diminishes.
So that's one. Two is maybe he likes his coaches. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know what the situation is, but he needs to learn how to move his, he needs to learn to move his head offline.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's the thing. And when you move your head offline, you've got to throw back. So he just stands straight up and down. He just takes the shot, and then he just keeps coming forward. But being tough is one thing, but being smart is another thing. Now, I know sometimes you can't miss him, but you don't want to take the full shot, and that's what he's been taking. He just stands straight upright and just keeps his head in the center line, and he's just target practice. Now, he was doing some good things in that first round. He should have kept with the calf kick. He did, he was moving his head a little bit more when he was fresh and throwing more. But I think for him, a guy like him needs to start learning how to weaponize his conditioning and his cardio. Because there was times when Waldo, what's his last name? Cortez Acosta. Cortez Acosta, he gassed himself out on Chase Sherman's face. And all he needed was a little bit more push, but he'd already taken so many shots, he couldn't give enough to do enough to get back there and make him. Because you had Waldo just backing away, circling, going, man, I just blew out my gas tank.
I got to gain space and get some air here.
Yeah, because I don't have it anymore right now, and now I could potentially be in trouble because he tried so hard. So if Chase is listening to this, man, just working on a little bit of head movement. Take the Andre Ward approach. I want to be able to box. And I want to be able to take pretty much no damage. Moving your head offline, okay, and then countering with some shots, and then making circling and sticking away. Those calf kicks were having a real big effect. He just didn't stick on him after the second round. He got away from him, and I think he could have changed the game a little bit with that had he kept going after him. So he's got talent. He's got ability. Increase the cardio.
He's definitely
against heavyweights. And that's the thing, though, John. With good cardio, along with your toughness, you're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
You're going to be real hard to beat if you start weaponizing your cardio. So let's just start getting you a little bit further than where you're used to being with the cardio. And let's start making you to avoid a couple more shots so your power level can stay a little bit higher. If we could do those two things,
good point.
I think we could. I don't see a reason why they would cut him. He's showing his toughness, his grittiness. He's showing things that we wish we had in almost every fucking fighter that we don't.
Yep.
And that's the thing. So I agree with you, and I thought Waldo fought a good fight. He made the adjustments as needed.
He fought exactly how he should have fought.
Yeah, but he's not ready for the Cyril Gons and he's not the Stipes.
Oh
he's not ready for those guys.
No, he's not. I'm being honest. They should put him. I hate to say this, but because I love Andre Arlovsky as a person, but they should put him against Andre because at least Andre will give him movement. Yeah. Andre does fight differently now. He doesn't just stand there in front of you and he moves and he picks it. And so let's see where he is. And I hate to say that, Andre is kind of in that gatekeeper position. If you can beat Andre, you're maybe one of those top guys. If you can't, maybe you're not. Yeah. It seems to me that might be a good fight for him.
Yeah, I was thinking someone like a podcast, Dave, but okay. Andre Arlovsky works. All right. Next fight, John.
Man, your guy Andre Fiallo came out strong again. Muslim Salikov, man, the Kung Fu Panda, as I call him, because he's a real Kung Fu guy. He's the king of Kung Fu. Salikov he's dynamic, man, and he really throws well at times. His spinning attacks are so good, and we talked about that coming in. Andre hurt him in the first round, really looked good. Going after him, had him on his heels, had him backing up, and then, boy, did the fight change coming into that second round. Everything started to change, and then by the third round, I know Andre was kind of looking like, why are you stopping the fight? It's because you were a punching bag that looked like you were frozen, and I don't blame Chris Taglioni at all. That was a good stoppage.
Yep.
And man, Salikov he's one of those guys. He's fun to watch because he really does have a unique skill set that you don't expect the things from him that you're seeing. And he's fun to watch, man. And he landed a couple of those, the spinning kicks that he landed and everything. And some of the kicks to the body that he was landing on Fiallo, I was like, damn, man. And you could see, and man, if you've been him, you could see it hurt Fiallo. But he was hiding it well, but he was like, and it's like, oh, dude, that hurt so bad. But great performance by Salikov. I thought, I know how tough Andre is. He was tough in this fight, but after the first round, he did not fight smart, Josh. He kept marching forward, but marching forward, eating shots is not good fighting.
Well, he trains at Killcliff with another guy who doesn't fight smart at all, Michael Chandler. So maybe it's starting to bleed down to the rest of those guys.
I don't know.
I love a lot of the guys at Killcliff Gym. It's a fantastic gym. The coaches are fucking
great
absolutely
coaches,
amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I thought Andre fought a very good first round.
Yes, he did.
But with Andre, I look at Andre like I look at most people that are heavy hitters and fast and explosive. What happens after the first round? They start to just peter off. They just less output, trying to load up a little bit more.
But why not use some of the wrestling that he has? Because he does have the ability to wrestle.
He can fucking wrestle. I mean, you heard what they were saying on the broadcast of DC said that he had taken him to suplex DC. I didn't see that one, but I've seen him double leg DC a couple times, and I've seen him double leg Luke Rockhold a couple times. I mean, like, and he's not a big guy. He's like maybe a tiny bit bigger than me. He's not a big guy.
No, he's bigger than that, dude.
No, he's not, John.
No, you're not very big. I just want to tell you.
No, I mean, I'm getting older now, so I'm starting to shrink like you.
You're starting to slouch.
I'm starting to shrink like you. I'm starting to shrink.
I'm shrinking, there's no doubt.
Yeah. So, I mean,
everywhere except my ass.
Yeah, he's not an extremely big guy. I mean, his shoulders are probably a little bit taller than mine, and makes him a little higher. But he's got a little bit longer legs. But he's not a big guy, but he possesses some big time power. He's explosive for sure. The jab was working for him. He just had to keep popping the jab, and then his combinations with his hook and his right hand, fucking fantastic. But you're right though. In the second round, Salikov started making the difference. Johnson, was the spinning attacks. As it really started to freeze Fiallo because he just didn't have the explosiveness anymore to move out of the way or cover the distance to slide in or counter off of it. He was just, okay, let's just not get knocked out. Let's cover and brace for it. Let's brace for it. And then, if I can hit you back, I will. But then some of those got underneath the elbows, and I could tell. You could tell. Yeah. You were just like, oh, my goodness.
Oh, that hurt.
That shit had to hurt. Yeah. And he tried to, he walked him down. He kept coming forward, and he's tough. He's tough as hell. I've seen him in sparring. I've seen his nose get broken. He finished the round. And we were like, no, you got to stop. He's like, no, finishing the round. I was like, no, dude, you got to stop. Fucking like a leaky faucet out here. Just, So, I mean, there's 2 losses in a row after he exploded onto the scene, I think, with 3 wins. It's hard to say. I mean, like,
no, he lost his first one. He lost his first one, yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He lost his first one, and then he won 2, and then lost his fourth, right?
He lost to Michel Pahea.
So. Gotcha. Yeah. Which he could have. I feel like he could have beat him had he had a full camp.
Could have.
He could have beat him had he had
a
full
lot of
camp.
problems.
That was like a 4-day or 5-day notice or something like that, maybe even less.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a short
notice fight.
They brought him in. I like it, man. Andre's a great kid, man. Super great kid. Fun to be around. He's just a fun guy. We used to just rag with each other all through the camps when he was at AKA. We had so much fun, man. During that niche, at the end of when we moved from the Hillsdale gym to the new gym that we're at now, when we moved, that we had so much fun. You still had Prangley, you still had Baroni, so it was a mix of them with the new up and coming guys that they weren't quite comfortable yet talking shit, Habib and Islam and them and and some other guys that were kind of coming up. They weren't quite comfortable talking shit. But as we started getting older and then they kind of started petering out because we had, Gray Maynard, Tyson Griffin, and we had a ton of like old school guys. This new generation was coming in. They started kind of getting ahead of us a little bit, giving us a go. And it was like, you motherfuckers. But it was just fun. It was
the way it is.
It was so much fun though, man. We had a blast.
Right.
Still one of the greatest gyms ever, if not the greatest.
It's been a fantastic gym. The performance, if you're going to look at performance of the night, the guy that really shined and just is continuing on with being fantastic, Jack Della Maddalena.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he looked good. Danny Roberts is a good fighter, and he just ran through him, in this. I mean, I don't know really what more to say. Della Magdalena is strong. He's got quick hands. He's everything. You look at him, he'll take a shot. And I love he's got the perfect fighter's nose, man. It goes flat with his forehead. It doesn't stick out at all. You go, that's a guy that you can punch in the middle of the face and he just goes.
Yeah.
It's like the guy's good. He really does have talent.
Yeah. I thought he fought a good fight. When you look at him though, John, I look at him and I go, all right, cool, another fighter. But then you see what he does in there and you're like,
separating himself.
Yeah, he is. And so, but I'm saying like when I first see him visually, cool, another fighter. Then like when he's throwing his combinations and you see what he's like, it's still just another fighter. But then the way it's touching, the way he's controlling the positioning, the top position, whatever it is, he seems to be just making it work, and his opponents have no answers. Now that will change as he fights tougher competition.
Absolutely.
And they will start remedying what he's doing.
They will be hitting him back with things, and things will not come as easy.
What they'll do is they'll start to actually pay attention to him because now he's making some waves.
Yeah.
And they'll start trying to break him down. And top level fighters will see him and go, I can exploit that. These lower level fighters, they want to try to exploit what they think they can find on him, but they can't. He's the better technician. But when you get into the higher ranks, those other guys are going to be like, he's not taking me down. I got too good at wrestling, and then if I do get taken down, I'm going to reverse him this way or this way. They start figuring out his little holes because they've started watching him now a little bit more often versus when he was a nobody. So good for him. He had a great performance. But John, for me, this next fight was probably one of the best fights on the card. It was Charles Johnson versus Zumagulov.
Okay.
I thought it was a fun fight. It was such a fun fight.
And
I thought they got it wrong.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I kind of was rooting for Charles. I like Charles Johnson. I've seen him before. He's really dynamic. He's fun to watch. I've watched Zumagulov before. He's just a grinder, very tough. And so I was like, I was kind of pulling for Charles Johnson. I thought Zumagulov won the fight.
Yeah. Sadly, he retired after the fight.
Did he?
Yeah.
See, to me, that's almost like broken heart.
Yeah. Hopefully he comes back. I mean, I think he still has a lot left in the gas tank. He's older though, right? What is he, 38, 39? How old is Zumagulov?
He's up there.
Dave?
Yeah.
He's 38. Anyways, I thought Charles Johnson looked
34.
34. Come back. What are you doing?
Come on, dude.
You got two or three good more years, man. Yeah. That 36, 37 is kind of the breaking point.
Yep.
What are you doing? I guess
you got to figure he's got 2 losses in a row now. Let me see the
3.
The last 3.
Oh my god.
So he lost to Manel Kemp on punches. Decision loss to Jeff Molina that a lot of people looked at was like, split. And then now a split against Charles Johnson. So
that sucks. He's fun to watch, man, but he's only got 1 win, and then he's got 5 losses,
in the UFC. Yep.
Yeah, poor guy.
That's tough.
That sucks, man. I loved watching him fight. He brings the action. It's fun. I thought Charles Johnson looked good. He in spurts. He's got when he was feeling it, he was feeling it.
Oh yeah.
When he wasn't feeling it,
he was not feeling it.
He was not feeling it. So, speed of him. He reminded me a little bit like when I would spar with Tomas Dions. I was like, God, I hate this guy. Because when Tomas had that type of pep in his step and was bouncing around and just pot-shotting you, fuck. I couldn't even, I was that, like that.
Couldn't get out of the way.
I couldn't get to his legs. I couldn't get out of the way, and I couldn't get to his legs. And he was so fast that even when he fainted, I felt like I couldn't block it. So I just blocked the feint with my eyes. I blink. I just was hoping that it was just a feint, and I would just blink as fast as I could to try and block the punch with my blinks. It was horrible, John. Like when you spar someone who's fast, people don't realize how much it sucks because
this is why when we talk is how many times did I get my ass beat by someone super fast, and it was like because I used to spar all different weight and then it was all you do is you don't hit as hard.
Yeah.
You take some off. But God damn, when you spar or go against guys that were fast, it was like, I want to hit you hard just so I can hit you once.
Oh, yeah.
And speed is so difficult to deal with. because they're just able to move, and they're gaining. It's like if you want to put on a football field, they're gaining yards that you're losing consistently throughout this motion. And those little inches make differences in who's hitting who.
We had a kid, I can't remember his name, but just a quick little story. We had a kid, his name was Reese something, I can't remember his name. Good fighter, 155-pounder, but he was 6'4". And he was so Hob was having him spar with Cain Velasquez. And all Hob wanted him to do was move his head offline because he had good boxing. So Hob, he couldn't take, Cain wasn't allowed to take him down, or if he did take him down, he had to let him right back up. It's just really, it was Cain's like 4th or 5th round. He was getting ready for, I think, the Czech Congo fight. He was getting ready for a kickboxer. I can't remember who else. Anyways, and so you had him sparring him, and Cain was getting peppered up. And this kid was just snapping the jab, 6'4", long, just fast. Bop, 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 bop. Fucking. And the first round ended of them working. And then so then Hob had him go the second round. It was no longer than like 20 seconds. Cain just ran across the cage with the ring, picked him up, dumped him down between the fucking ropes, grabbed the ropes, and started fucking stomping him and kicking him out of the ring. It's like, it was so fucking mad that
frustration, baby,
because he wasn't allowed to hit him back. He was only supposed to be moving his head movement, and then, like pressuring him, making him make a mistake, and then grabbing him and then taking him down and then letting him up. So it wasn't like he was a lot he could do. And it was a 24-foot ring or 22-foot ring or something like that. So this kid was fucking running everywhere, and Cain was just getting super mad. And when he would chase after him, he'd get hit more, and it just made it even worse. So when he got a hold of him, man, he flung him down to the ground, and he got him stuck in between the ropes because we used to spar in a ring all the time. And he stepped on the rope to hold him still, just so he could stump his body. It was so funny. It was so mad. And Javier had to yell at him, Cain, no. And then he finally just put his foot on his ass and just kind of kicked him out of the ring off the ring apron onto the floor, which was like a good 3.5 foot drop.
3.5 foot drop. Yeah.
It was great. We all laughed. And we were all laughing because we were all watching it because we were like, oh shit, Reese is putting it on Cain right now. What the fuck? What is going on? And he wasn't happy. It's the worst when your hands are tied. Your coach wants you to work on something specifically, and you're fucking getting your hit, and you're like,
and also when you're not allowed to hit somebody, and they know that, they can put themselves in positions that normally they're not going to be able to put themselves in because they'd be getting blasted, and now they're not because your whole thing is, I'm just moving, defending.
Well, that's what happened with me and Iron Lady. Fucking Jermaine Geronimi. She came in. I'd already sparred, 4 rounds. She came in my last round. She's spitting back at me, jumped in the air, spitting back at me right in the fucking face. Just bam! I thought my nose was broken. Oh, I fucking picked her up and slammed her, and just started putting.
How you want
her.
photos of me? I want tape of that one.
I
want tape of that one.
John, I was so mad. But to me, that fight was really good. Sad to see Zumagulov go. It sounded like he announced his retirement on his social media platform, is what I read. So hopefully he comes back. 34, it's not too late. He's a fun fighter. The next fight, to be honest, John, I thought it was a fantastic fight as well. The Miraz and Maya fight. Maya looked fucking fantastic. She looked clean. And as the fight went on, Miraz started to find out and figure out the rhythm of it all.
Figure out the range a little bit.
Yeah, she was having a hard time with the speed of Maya. I was surprised how tight.
There was more movement. The little sidestepping she would do and her little head movement caused her problems.
But she did a great job of throwing off that movement.
Yeah, she did.
It's so funny. You get a lot of MMA guys, they can move, but they can't throw off of that movement. And she was doing a great job of that. It was the fight was looking to shape up. That's a fight that I would like to have seen be 5 rounds. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was starting to change tides a little bit. They were starting to really settle in and let the combinations go.
Maya won the fight.
No, I know she did. I'm not
definitely
saying
won
that.
The fight.
John, I'm not saying that.
Maya won the fight.
That.
Okay.
But it was a good fight, and I thought it was shaping up. Had they had another 2 rounds, it could have been a great. Someone could have got a good knockout, someone could have got a finish, but it was shaping up to be a good fight.
Yeah,
it was good. Both of them looked impressive. I want to give both of them credit. I mean, they didn't look tired at all at the end. Maya started to slow down a tiny bit, Like her combinations weren't coming out as clean and crisp as they were in the first.
Yeah.
But Miraz was putting on a lot of pressure, still had a good bounce in her step. Miraz just needed to use her kicks more. How are you so long and you don't use your kicks? This was basically a boxing match between the two of them. That's all it was.
Yeah, but you have to look and think about the fact that Miraz is looking at Maya, black belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't want to be on, I can't be on my back. I don't want to be on the ground. So I'm gonna basically throw the kicking game out the door because I don't want to bring my foot up and get it caught. Now I'm on my back. So I understood why she was not doing it.
John, can I ask you this? How come the female fighters don't use the calf kick? It's very rare the female fighters don't use it. Ladies, why are you not using this weapon? I don't get it. It's if you see that all the men are having such success and fights being stopped because of it, or you got that drop foot thing going on, like any of that stuff.
You even saw it in the Charles Johnson fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see them start making that adjustment and that change. Because like you were saying, Miraz didn't want to kick. Well, it's hard to get taken down when you throw that calf kick because it gets there and gets back before they can reach for the leg. And if they start reaching for the leg because you're hurting the calf, then you come upstairs to the head. So those little things make a huge difference on the outcome of how you change the direction of the fight and take away some of their weapons. Also, it's harder to shoot a double leg or shoot a takedown if that lead leg is tore up. That pressure you got to put on there, that explosiveness moving forward. So I would have liked to have seen her utilize her kicks. Not just that kick, but you can do push kicks up the middle if you're afraid to get taken down. She had the reach. She had the length in her legs. That push kick up to the face would have been fantastic. John, is there any other fights on this card you want to talk about?
Yeah, the Ricky Turcios versus Kevin Natividad fight. You got to give it up. That was a fun fight to watch. Mm-hmm. I thought Turcios was tough as hell. Some great grappling exchanges. He took a couple of flying knees. It was like, God damn. Unbelievable. If you're Natividad, man, you got nothing to feel bad about that. You fought a hell of a fight, tough. I thought it was, that last bit, mm-hmm. it turned the tide for Turcios and he got the split. I can understand it. But it was a really good fight between the two of them. So that's the one that you got to give it up for both guys in that. I thought they both performed really well.
I also wanted to give a little shout on a fantastic knockout on Natalia Silva. Great job. She looked great. You could tell she throws everything with so much heat, so much
that spinning
power.
Back kick?
Yes. But her boxing looked clean as well up until then, John. Her boxing was looking good. She was doing some good stuff. She had some great top pressure as well. She looked really good. That spinning back kick was money, though. Money. Just money. That's exactly what it looked like when I got fucking kicked in the face by Jermaine Durandamy.
Right there.
Jeez. Yep. She fucking just, wow. John, my nose, I fucking looked like the other guy you just said, Della Maldonado or whatever the frick, man. My fucking face was flat for a week. It was so bad. Oh. And speaking of Jermaine, she's having a baby. Her baby's her and her partner. Hello?
Hello.
You got me? Okay. Your mic?
I got you now.
No,
all of a sudden I was
and,
like, I'm dead.
Yeah,
dead in the water.
Her and her partner are having a baby. Well, so congratulations to Jermaine.
So now, hold on. Is it Jermaine that is carrying the baby?
Not,
or
no,
is it
it's
her
not
partner?
Jermaine. No, it's her partner.
Well, congratulations to her. That's awesome.
Jermaine is
She's a sweetheart of a person. Oh, it's Jermaine that's carrying
the baby. It is Jermaine. Sorry.
God damn, dude. You're wrong.
I was wrong. Sorry.
Great picture. Great picture. Look at that dog.
Oh,
love that dog.
She is such a sweet. She's such a sweet.
She is a wonderful
What I love about her, John, is she can talk shit with the guys. She will fuck you up. She will fuck you up by talking shit. She is fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah,
she's hilarious.
She's a good person. Congratulations to her, man. So,
all right, let's go to Bellator 288.
Let's go, baby.
Let's start with the main event. You got Vadim Nemkov versus Corey Anderson. John.
Look, it was a good fight. People are going to sit there and say all kinds of stuff.
I don't think people are going to say anything. I think people thought it was a good fight.
I don't think anyone's. They're going to say something about Corey. He didn't get it done. He was. Hey, when you talk about good fighters, a different day makes sometimes a big difference, and you got to give it to Corey attempted 15 takedowns. 15, Josh.
Yeah.
You know what that takes to try to attempt those. And after you miss 3, 4, 5, no matter what, in your head, you're starting to go, oh shit. And he didn't have that approach. He just, I'll get the next one. And he kept working for it. But you got to give it to Nemkov. He came in a different fighter. He didn't gas. He was able to control those clinch situations. He was able to do some good things to stop what Corey is great at. And that made a difference in his cardio. Look, I thought that, if you were going to look at this going into the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, we've seen Vadim get tired. We saw him in the first match with Corey. He was tired. And it was like, well, that's going to be when Corey's turning it on. Man, Vadim just looked fantastic throughout it. He just kept coming. He was able to, nullify everything. His counter, Corey Anderson is a great counter striker. Vadim out counter struck him throughout it, and you got to give it up to him as far as how he controlled the range for a lot of the fight, how he was able to take and nullify the wrestling of Corey Anderson. I thought Corey fought a tough ass fight, and by the end, man, he had taken a lot of damage, a lot of shots. His leg, you talk about the leg kicks, and one of the things we had talked about is Vadim in that first round was touching Corey with leg kicks, and it was making a difference. And he's got to go back to it, and he's got to make it happen. He did go back to it, and he did control a lot of what was happening through those leg kicks, and he did a lot of damage to Corey's leg. Corey was, when you saw him afterwards, walking was not a good, time for Corey. He was feeling every step.
Yeah, I think, John, you and I were in the fighter meetings, and the question I asked Corey was, you were seconds away from winning $1 million, becoming the light heavyweight world Grand Prix champion. Do you have any regrets? This was during the week. He's like, absolutely not. No, I have none. John, at this moment right now, he's got regrets.
Yes and no. I understand
$1 million.
what you're saying.
$1 million.
I understand what you're saying. And I like I said, yes and no. Corey's a different individual. He is not the guy.
He's not as rich. He's not as rich as he would have been. That type of different individual.
Yeah, that's true. But, look, Corey is very happy with what he's making, fighting for Bellator. No, hold on.
You're missing the point.
I'm not saying that $1 million wouldn't have been very nice to put into his bank account. But he's not a publicity seeker. He's not a celebrity hound. This guy is, he's a backwoods. I like to go hunting. I like to spend time with my family. Down to earth dude. I love the guy. He's funny. He comes up with great lines throughout when you're talking to him, and he's tough as hell. And I think it's one of these. We're going to see these guys fight again. It's going to.
But that's my point. Yeah. That was my point to begin with. Like, I would have rather fought taken $1 million, and I know it's not the way you want to win. I get it, John. But no, here's the thing. He brought the attention to it, which caused that fight to be stopped. And what's his name? Who was the ref that did that? Frank Trigg. He goes fight. He goes keep fighting. That fight would have ended. That fight would have ended because they would have went to the scorecards. He was winning on the scorecards, and he would have won. He would have won the $1 million.
No.
Now they would have done them. No. Mm-hmm. Oh, then how would so you're saying that it wouldn't have?
See, this is where people make mistakes, and I'm telling you right now, they're trying to change the wording on it, but the unified rules for when a fight can stop is the fight must enter the 3rd round of a 3-round fight. The fight must enter the 4th round of a 5-round fight. So that would have been the end of the 3rd. Now, and I'm not saying that it couldn't have gone to where they make it to where they go to the judges' scorecards if Frank Trigg did certain things. I'm not too sure that he was going to do those things. I'm not too sure that he understood that he would need to do those things to make the fight enter the 4th round, because it would have had to have entered the 4th round for them to then go to the scorecards, score what portion of the 4th round you saw, even if it was really no action at all, So the judges will go 10-10, but it's got to enter it. And right now they're trying to change the wording on that, so it's no longer that has to complete the second round of a 3-round fight, has to complete the third round of a 5-round fight. That's the wording they're trying to go to. I'm sure that will eventually take place, but for this fight, it would have had to enter the fourth round of a 5-round fight, and it was not entering that yet. So
no, I understand that, but then you and I have had these discussions before about how this all goes down. The fighter goes back to the corner. The cut guy cleans it up. He cleans it up, puts Vaseline or before the doctor. They clean it up, they put it on there, and then they get ready to start the round. Mm-hmm. The round starts, and then the ref calls time, and then they bring the doctor in to look.
Hold on. Again, and this is how does the referee? This is where referees have a lot of power within certain elements of the fight, and it's an understanding of, do I put this in a position where it cannot go to the judges' scorecards and we're going to call it a no contest, or do I put this in a position where we're going to go to the scorecards based upon we've had 3 rounds of fighting and truthfully you look at this and you say, okay, what is best for the promotion? If it's Bellator in this situation, what's best for Bellator? If it's the UFC in certain situations, what's best for the UFC as a promotion, and what's best for the fans? Did the fans see a fight? Yeah, they saw a fight. So you can sit there and say, I am going to take this. I'm going to let them work on him. I'm going to let all that take place. And then I am going to get everybody out. I'm going to start the fight and then go time, get back to your corners, bring in the doctor. I just started the 4th round. Now the doctor comes in and goes, fight cannot go on. Cut was caused due to an unintentional clash of heads. That's a foul. So now instead of it being a TKO, we're going to go to the judges' scorecards. I'm going to have the judges score the 4th round, which they saw nothing in, which is going to be a 10-10 on every judges' scorecard. So really we're going off the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round, which is a complete fight for most fights. And whoever was winning on the judges' scorecards would be awarded the winner. You can do that. But it could also be where he brings in the doctor in between the 3rd and the 4th round.
Yes.
The doctor goes, can't go on. He has not started the 4th. He goes like this with his hands, and we have a no contest.
That's what I was going to ask you. Were the circumstances be different because it was from a clash of heads, an illegal blow, which is accidental, obviously?
Yeah,
that
accidental.
Frank Trigg would have said, hey, doctor, come in now. We're ruling it right now. It was a headbutt that caused the cut, and then boom, it would have been over. So that's what I wanted to know. Or if Trigg would have went, okay, let them clean it up the best they can. Maybe put some Vaseline on it. Okay, let's start the round. Boom, timeout. Bring the doctor in. Then the fight's over.
We don't know.
Got it. So I just wanted to clarify that because I know for myself, John, I mean, I've been a fighter for 20 years and, and I still don't know the damn rules. And
most people don't understand those things, and it doesn't make sense to most people. They're like, there's no difference. It's just because of verbiage in the rule set and how you work within it.
Well, just all the little nuances on how it can be handled. Like you said,
yes.
a referee has a lot of control in that situation.
That's
that
right,
could give the fight to one person or the other. And
well, you're not giving the fight. It's not.
You're not.
You're not giving the fight. They fought the fight. What you're doing is saying, all right, what is it best for if the UFC has a championship fight, and this is a big fight between two people, and we've seen 3 rounds of a fight, is it best for it to end up a no contest? Sometimes it might be based upon the type of foul, but sometimes is it best for it to actually go to a decision? Is it best for it for the referee to go DQ?
Yeah,
probably not, because now it's the referee deciding exactly who's going to win. That's when the referee's deciding who's going to win. It would be better to go to the people that are supposed to judge who should be the winner of this. All right, we'll go to those scorecards because that's actions that's occurred, and we'll say who's the winner. That's usually going to be your best way of handling it.
I don't want to take anything away from Nemkov, but if I'm Corey Anderson and as the fight's going on and I'm not getting takedowns and I'm getting peppered with my legs and some combinations, it's a snowball effect. I'm losing this fight. I could have already made this money. I should have already won this tournament. and it just mentally starts to wear on you. Now, Corey never looked in the moment where he was like beaten.
No.
But it looked like he was frustrated.
Yes.
That he couldn't get a takedown. He was sweaty, and it got harder and harder as the fight went on. He wasn't getting deep enough. I believe in his last, like, a couple takedown attempts, he didn't even get to the hips. His arms didn't even really get there. And it's a tough situation to be in. You've got to be thinking back, man, this is what I get for being a good person.
You know, sometimes good guys don't finish first.
No.
It is just the truth of the matter, but
because John,
but you also got to give it and take a look at the situation with Nemkov, and you were the guy that actually asked him in the fighter interviews, and you brought it up. Say, hey, you know, that fight occurred very close to when Russia and Ukraine started a conflict. How much effect did you have? And he said, he goes, look, I live 60 miles from the Ukrainian border. I have a lot of friends there. It bothered me a lot. And he's also, this was a guy that was part of the Russian military for a while. You know, these things have an effect. You know, fighters are not soulless, and it's not that they don't have feelings. They do, and these things can affect you. And he said, look, it affected me a lot. Also, the fact that my fight was put off and it seemed like I was in training forever. He goes, I overtrained. Okay. So he had multiple things that, you know, affected him in fight. And it only takes one thing to be the difference maker in a fight between really good fighters. Yeah. And I thought, let's give it up for Corey. First fight, yes, I believe he was winning that. Second fight, man, he fought his ass off. Let's give it up for Vadim. Tough as hell, you know, was putting up with a guy that was mauling him in the first one. The cut happens. It wasn't his fault. It was both of them moving simultaneously and Corey coming down into his head. So, you know, it's not like he created it. He didn't cause it as far as Vadim. And he came out in the second one and he did the right things, Josh, and he went to the right places. He decided, I'm going to leave right now where I always train.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be away from my family because there's things that I need to work on to beat this guy. He did that, and those things worked for him, and that's why he beat him.
Yeah, you got to think the MVPs really go to the American Top Team.
Oh, yeah.
The adjustments that he had to make with Johnny Eblin, Dalton Rasta, Amosov's not there right now, but I think he's trickling back there coming up here soon. You know, and Austin Vanderford and all those guys that were there training with him. They were the ones working with him on the constant grind in terms of the wrestling, pressuring him, pushing him. I heard a lot of things that really opened my eyes about Johnny Eblin. You know, and how well he was doing with Nemkov, and how the two of them were training, and how one was good at this area and the other one was good at this area, and they were having success in here and here.
We had guys telling us, "Hey, dude, I was stopping my training. You wanted to watch rounds?" They go, "It was unbelievable watching those guys." And you go, "Yeah, I've been in the gym." Same as you're talking about. How many times have you all of a sudden you stop your training because all of a sudden these two guys are going and they're going? Yeah, and you go, "Oh, this is good." Yeah, this is a freebie I get to watch, and so, yeah, and you got to give it up for Conan Silveira. Look at Marcus Silveira has turned into a dynamite coach, man. Yeah, we're talking about a guy that really works well with his people, and Vadim said, man, he was a huge help to me. Yeah, he was in his corner. Yeah. Sometimes when you go to a new gym, you don't always have their coaches in your corner. Nope. He already had Fedor, and he had his, you know, and his some of his other past coaches there. He probably didn't need Conan, but he felt, hey, he gave me so much advice and helped me so much throughout the camp. I gotta have him, and he had him, and I felt like him being an ATT was a big difference maker, huge difference maker. So. And that gym is just known for breeding the best guys, man, the best guys. Fantastic. So. Good stuff on him, because it's not easy to go to another gym and do a full camp there and expect to have a good performance. And he did it. He did a great job. Next fight, Patricio Pitbull, the lightweight champion, taking on Usman Nurmagomedov. One way road on this one. Patricio did not in any fashion look like the Patricio that we've seen. He did a couple of things as far as he tried to wait and just, wait on Usman, which you cannot do if you're Patricio in this situation. Again, certain fighters, certain styles, length, and everything, you've got to change what you do at times to give you the opportunity to be able to be successful offensively against your opponent. Yeah. Usman Nurmagomedov, we said, at distance, if Patricio tries to fight him at distance, he is in trouble. Well, Josh, we were proved correct because he tried to fight him at distance and he was in trouble throughout it. He just took shot after shot. Usman lit him up with the kicks. And I mean, you want to talk about a clinic on throwing a variety of kicks throughout a fight. Take a look at this one. He hit him with everything you could think of in the kicking department. Beautiful job of transitioning at times to the takedown. And when he got to the takedown, like, he didn't just sit there and freaking control position and stuff. He lit him up. That second round, if there was more time, and I mean 15 seconds of time, I think that fight would have been over.
Yeah.
And you just got to give it up for a guy at now 16-0. Yes, he's young. At 24, god damn, he's young. To be a champion in MMA at 24 is amazing. But the kid is polished. You got to just look and go, man, his stand-up is good. His wrestling is good. His ground positioning is good. He may not be, the top submission guy out there, but he's got good submissions. He understands the submission game. At 24, for how well-rounded he is and how he puts it all together, hats off, man. The dude is a stud.
And here's the thing, though, John, is that they haven't even seen
he's only going to get better,
everything yet. They haven't seen everything yet. And he's just getting better, and he's going to continue to get better. You got Islam, who's jumped leaps and bounds in his confidence and his abilities, and you see it's trickling down. Usman, the same thing, has now jumped so much since the last time I've seen him trained with him. Little Umar, I was just goofing around with him in the gym, I know. one of the nights there, and it was like he grabbed me. I was like, "Oh man, you became a man.
You've changed."
Like from the Seattle show when we were in Seattle 2 months ago to now when I went to grab, I was like, God damn, you're filled out. Like, you're big now. Yeah. He grabbed me, and it was like, okay, I'm clinching with a man right now. But he didn't have that before, and so it was like, okay, so I felt like I had that big brother on him. No, I'm the old man now.
Welcome to the club, baby. Welcome to the club, man.
They are just sucks. John, I walked into that gym at 10:15 at night. I think it was on Thursday. And they're all in there. I posted the video of them. It's him and Islam Mamedov, those guys. They're all in there just riding the bike, 10 o'clock at night. Good. And Abu Bakr is getting a lift on with Ali, and they're just hanging out. And it makes you realize, like, John, you and I spend some time at the bar usually at night, just, hanging out, telling stories, meeting with everyone. These guys are in the gym working out, lifting. Yep. They're getting their cardio on. They're doing whatever. Like, if they're just there. And they're not crushing it. They're not sprinting. They're just cruising at a nice pace for an hour. If people want to know why they're so good, they don't drink, they don't hang out at the clubs, they don't go chase tail, they don't do any of that stuff. That when your focus is your one goal, you're gonna be pretty hard to beat, man. You're gonna be pretty. I look at guys like Kobe, Jordan, Tom Brady, going through what he's going through with his wife, but is football or me? Well, I mean, it's these guys, they're like, they don't have to make those choices. It's like, no, this is it. This is it. Like, this is what I'm doing. And it shows. It shows in the levels that they jump, leaps and bounds. So good stuff by Usman. Let
me ask you this, though. You were there, so you would have an idea. This is where you take a look. Now, Usman and Islam worked out together in Abu Dhabi for a long time before Islam's fight with Charles, Usman's fight with Patricio. So obviously, training wise and everything, they're doing their thing. Islam is 31 years of age. Mm-hmm. Usman is 24. Usman at 24 is better than Islam was at 24. I'm not saying that he is at Islam's level at this moment. He's not, but they fight different. It's the ground that is the controlling factor for Islam. But at 24, if you go back and I watch Islam, good, made a lot of mistakes at times and stuff, was young, and you take a look and stuff. Usman is more polished at 24 than Islam was.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason why I'm saying this is that the difference is I think Islam was the better grappler. I also think that he wasn't
There's
the better
no doubt
striker.
he's still the better grappler.
No, but I'm saying maybe wasn't as confident on the feet, but he was still good on the feet.
Not even close.
I didn't say. I said he wasn't as good on the feet, but I said what the confidence wasn't there either on the feet. But he was good on the feet. Islam was good on the feet just because he got knocked. Everyone keeps going back to the one time he got knocked out.
I'm not going back to the one.
I get that, but I'm saying, but that's the lead up. Oh, he's not as good on the feet because of that. Well, no, it's not because of that. That's all people remember. He was good on the feet. He was really good on the feet. And as time went on, his confidence grew. Now, this is where the difference is. And this is where I believe the difference is. Khabib and Islam were the ones paving the way.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones having to do all the work and build the confidence and lay the way to say, hey, young guys, it can be done, and we're showing you we're doing it this way. There was a lot more pressure on these two guys than it is for Umar, Usman, all the other ones that are coming up behind them, because they already know that the format that these guys have laid works. They just got to keep doing it. So they didn't need to deal with all that of like, God, this is uncharted territory. Okay, what I'm doing is going to get it done. That's a lot. Confidence-wise, these young guys, they're super confident because they got the two. Because
they've seen it.
They've seen it be done by their family.
Okay.
Not even like, like my friend of a friend did it. This is how he did it. No. They were in there in the gyms with them as kids, following them around, going, oh, and then now they're champions. They're Khabib being 29-0, best, most dominant UFC champion ever. And then Islam now getting a win, submission win, calling him, basically saying, I'm going to submit him, and then he submits him. Usman, understanding that that's exactly what happens when you do the things that they are doing. And he's seeing the same type of success. These two paved the way for the young guys. The young guys they can walk around with that confidence because they know, Khabib, my cousin, and Islam, one of my best friends, my family, my brother, whatever you want to call him. These two guys,
call him his brother.
Yeah, they did it. They did it already. I know that they can do it, and I know how good I am with them. When people say, "Oh," because I had a ton of people go, and I was one of them. I was concerned that he might have done too much for this fight, like in terms of he didn't fight enough top ranked guys. This might be biting off more than you can chew. And it wasn't that I didn't think he could beat him in the wrestling and the grappling, and I thought he could stand with him on the feet. I was concerned that he would get lulled into that like that sleepy mode, like Hermes Franco used to do to people. He would just wait, and then all of a sudden he'd explode and knock you out. That's what Patricio does. He's gotten to the age now at 36 where he waits. And Usman has a tendency to sometimes back away with the chin in the air. I got nervous of that. Now that the fight's over, I can say this. I got nervous because of that, because I know Patricio can lull you in and explode fast. He's a lot faster than people think. He's like that wounded lion, just hangs out, and then all of a sudden you're lunch meat, And so I was worried about him at 24 and not fighting a top 10 guy. He proved me wrong, and I'm happy for him. He's got a tough task in front of him now with everyone else. I think Tawfiq has already been kind of announced to be next, is they've been talking about. And so if that's the case, that's
you think they have fight. That fight, or they put them both in the tournament and possibly match them up?
I think they're the first fight in the tournament.
Really? I hate that.
I think they're the first fight in the tournament. Yeah, because he's number one. I think they're going to end up being the first fight in the tournament, because you also got Alexander Shabli, then you've got Primus, you've got all these other guys that are in that mix. So and then you've got Rabadanov, the other one that comes from Khabib's camp.
Yeah, but Godzi doesn't want to fight Usman.
No, he doesn't want to fight him, and I don't even know if they're going to put him in the tournament. I think they're only going to take 8. They're not going to do more than that. It's too many. So I think I don't know. Well, look, overall, he fought a very good fight. Usman did. I don't want to say Patricio just got thrown off. It was the long length of the kicks, the snap kicks. They're a different type of kick. Like when certain fighters throw head kicks, they throw it fast and they want to hit it up there hard. He just throws it as a snap.
Yeah.
But because he's a big guy, he said 5'11", but I think he's 6 foot. He's kind of a big guy for 55. but he's got that strength about him, a little bit like that Swick strength. It doesn't seem strong, but it's that wiry strong. So when he grabs a hold of you, you're like, oh, okay. And the way he transitioned some of those takedowns, John, I was like, oh, you didn't used to wrestle this good. And you can tell that it's coming through. Yeah. So good for him. Good stuff. Looking forward to seeing him fight again. Then you've got Timur Hizriev.
There, you said that very well.
I guess Daniel Weichel. I was a little concerned for Hizriev because the experience of Daniel Weichel. But where I wasn't concerned was he has speed. He mixes it up really well. He can wrestle. He can put it all together. He puts it all together very well, and he never gets tired. I would like to, and I understand why it's first fight in Bellator against Daniel Weichel, who's got 56 fights now. I would have liked to have seen Hizriev open up a little bit more, take a couple more chances. But because it was his first fight, yes. I understood. You're fighting the number 7 ranked guy. Daniel Weichel was very
experience, a guy who's causing you some problems just with the way he's. Yep. I don't have a problem with it. I actually thought Hizriev actually fought a good fight for his first fight in a new promotion, fighting a guy that's very difficult to fight.
Yep.
A guy with a ton of experience, very good on the ground. And Hizriev showed that everyone looks, Usman did the same thing. Everyone looks at, they see Dagestani fighter. The first person they're going to go to is Habib, and they look at his style, smash, maul. These guys are not like that. They can do it, but they like to be in the stand-up, and Hizriev likes to be in the stand-up. He comes from more of the Zabit style of fighter, where they use a ton of spinning attacks, a lot of, flashy stuff, but they're good at making it land. They're good at, what they do, and they're fast.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the big deal. I thought Daniel Weichel, for 37 years of age or so, I thought he actually looked fast. I thought he just didn't look as fast as Hizriev. You could just see the distance. I mean, difference. And look, it's the future.
Yeah.
Hizriev is one of those guys. So Daniel James, the American Predator. God, I like this guy. He's so fun to be around. He is a huge man going against Tyrell Fortune. Tell me what you thought.
I thought that he is so big that Tyrell needed to fight a very smart fight, and he made one mistake. He got knocked off balance, and from then on, it was all over. You and I had said in the lead up, I think in the midweek show, that Tyrell Fortune can't afford to be on bottom.
Nope.
And he was on bottom long enough for the ref to stop the fight. That's it. That's when you have a guy who's cutting 20 pounds basically just to get to heavyweight. Yeah, he's cutting weight. He's cutting weight to get to heavyweight. Then he gets there, and he's not a slouch.
No,
he's not fat.
Sloppy.
He's not sloppy. He's not fat. He's not like someone that's just there to be there. No. He's fucking big, man, and he's a local celebrity there, man. Like, he's a local. That crowd got behind him when he walked out. He got the biggest pop all night for sure, hands down. Yeah. Hands down, biggest pop.
And let's take a look. And this is, do me a favor, Dave, pull up Daniel James's record, because I watched all of his fights from ACA. And you look, and he had his first fight was back in 2021 against Daniel Omolonchuk, and I watched that fight, and he lost a decision there. He didn't lose that fight. And so every one of them, and this is what happened with ACA, they brought him back. Look, no Eastern European country is bringing an American over there to win. They are trying to get you beat. Mm-hmm. And when you put him against Tomas I can't say it, Paktunicus, he destroyed him. So then they bring in a guy from Brazil, boom, he beats him. They bring in another guy that is one of their big guys now, one of their ranked guys, and he beats him. And you look and you go, look, this is not why they bring him there. And it was the one thing that I saw. He, in my opinion, was very Derek Lewis-like. We didn't get to see Derek Lewis this week, but he was very Derek Lewis-like in that, first off, he was actually better at the defensive wrestling than Derek Lewis. He was better at keeping people from taking him down than Derek was. But when he got on top, he did damage. And, just like Derek does, he's got so much power that you can only take a couple of shots. And when this whole thing, played out, when Tyrell Fortune got hit with that uppercut in the second round, first off, that thing landed clean.
Yeah.
It landed right on the button. And Tyrell was actually frozen, I'm not saying out, but frozen as he's falling backwards. And then he gets on top of him, and, Tyrell putting a hand there to try to block. He's getting blitzed. And you've got to move, and he wasn't moving, and the fight got stopped, and it should have been stopped. And I know Tyrell was, upset, with everything that occurred and stuff, and you can't be upset. And sometimes you personally at the time you think I'm okay, but you're not moving, and you're not doing anything to stop a guy that is clubbing you, in this fashion. Daniel James, great win, came in. His first win of his professional career was in Bellator. He got a win as a prelim. He comes in, on the main card, and he gets a win against a guy in Tyrell Fortune. And he's calling people out. I like that. He's fun. He's a fun guy.
He's gonna be fun. He's in the fighter interviews. He can talk.
Oh, he can talk.
He can talk.
Yeah,
they were texting us going, okay, hey, we have like, all the other fight. We got everyone. We got to still. He was, I think, our first one.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, time. And we're like, we're just, he's still answering question number one.
Dude, I asked him, that was 2 questions. What do you want?
Yeah. He was so nice for such a big guy. He's like a big teddy bear. Just a great guy. I'm excited to see him fight again. Yeah. All right. To me, fantastic fight. Levon Chokle versus Roman Faraldo. John, it really came down to who was the better mixed martial artist.
Yes.
That's what it came down to.
Yeah. It was that Levon Chokle, and he goes, people don't give Georgians enough credit in wrestling. He goes, I'm a stand-up guy, but I'm a wrestler.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm going to prove that. I am going to I'm going to wrestle him at times. I'm going to put him in bad positions. I'm going to take his power away, and I'm going to beat him up. Yeah. He did that.
Yeah.
The wrestling was a difference maker.
He fought a smart fight. He fought a good fight. He's fantastic on the feet. He's got good wrestling. It just wasn't Kyle Kretschmer wrestling when he fought Kyle Kretschmer. Kyle understood what he had to get done. Kyle would have been in trouble had he not been able to get the takedowns.
Yep.
Because on the feet, Levon Chokle's a dog.
Oh, yeah.
And so Faraldo is someone who is undefeated, never gone past the second round, 8 wins, 8 knockouts. I mean, there was high expectations for him to have a highlight reel knockout. And then Chokle just understood what was at stake. He's like, look, all I got to do is just keep you guessing. I can stand with you. He could stand with him. He showed that. Yeah. But he also understood, I've got to keep you guessing. If I wrestle a little bit, if I feint a little bit, if I chase submission a little bit, you're always worried about what's next. And it made it easier for his job to get that fight to the ground or to land his key shots to get the fight to the ground. John, I thought both of them fought well. I had some knucklehead media people talk about Dave, can you don't even pull it up? I'll just say what he said. Okay. There's knucklehead media people were going, oh, this is the problem with Bellator. They get you all built up on their young talent, and then and because they don't fight anybody tough, then they get into the main card, and this is what happens, which is so funny.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, what an idiot. But then again, I didn't hear that same guy say anything about Usman, who had never fought a ranked opponent, but yet is now fighting for the title. You didn't say shit then, but now you're all of a sudden, because you think that one guy had a bad performance, first time on the main card, first time fighting someone, who I don't even know if Chokely's ranked, okay, but it was fighting someone of a good level.
But Chokely came into Bellator undefeated. Now he had one, I believe he was 9-0 when he came in, and it was 9-0-1 because there was a no contest there. I watched that fight. He knocked the guy out. It was a legal blow, and the referee called it illegal and no contest the fight. And it was like, what are you doing? But okay, whatever. So he would have been 10-0 coming into Bellator. Yes, he fought Kyle Kretschmer. He didn't have his coach come with him. That caused him some problems too. Nothing against Kyle. Kyle did what he was supposed to do, fought a great fight, got the win. And then Levon made a mistake against a guy that we've seen. Yamauchi is a submission freaking master. The guy is phenomenal as far as submissions, and he's been fighting so well lately. And he caught him in an armbar. Okay, that shit can happen when you're fighting very good people. So you can look and say, yeah, Chokely has fought those good people in, he fought the Yamauchis, he fought Kyle Crutchmer. They saw that in Bellator. Well, Faraldo, when he started in Bellator, was what? 4-0, 3-0?
Something like that.
And you have two paths, and people need to figure this out. There are two different paths that a fighter can take. You want to make big money, guess what they're going to do with you? They're going to put you against better competition in the beginning. Or they're going to say, if you want to take a little bit less, we'll help build you. We'll give you competition that matches up with you, or that, you probably are a little bit better than, and we'll help you gain experience. That's what they did with Roman Faraldo. He's still good. Yeah. He's just in that position where he needs to work on one aspect of his fighting style, and that is the wrestling part. I got to stop the wrestling. I got to stop the takedown, or I've got to be able to get myself up off of the mat if I get taken down. The submission part, he may never be the great submission fighter, but he can always add that to the, that repertoire into his toolbox. That also, now if you take me down, I'm going to be dangerous. But he's never going to be a Goichi Yamauchi off his back. That's not the kind of fighter that he is. He's a power guy. He's got that knockout power. So stop the takedown, or if the takedown happens, here's how we get back up so you can go back to what you do best. But yeah, this was the best fighter that he has fought so far. It is.
Yeah. There's no doubt it's the best fighter he's fought so far. But my point was that no one complained when the media was talking about Usman getting the title shot, which I think obviously now has proven it was well-deserved. I was more hesitant because I was afraid that it was biting off more than he could chew.
Well, let's be honest. I said, no, he deserves, I understand why they're putting him there. He'll do fine. And you're concerned for multiple reasons. You're concerned
for your friends. That's okay. All. Exactly. You understand. I was concerned for him. And he proved me to be concerned for no fucking reason. Okay. But then when you come into this one, it's like, then you're gonna rag on Bellator, or you're gonna rag on Faraldo for not having a good performance. He's fighting a tough guy, and he's first time on the main card. Sometimes it doesn't work out for you. Look, he's got highlight reel knockouts against guys that have decent records, not great records, but good records. But he's also making them look like they don't deserve to be in there with him. That's a well-deserving spot. 2 flying knee knockouts. One of them made ESPN's top. I think it was like number 2 or 3 when he made the top 10. He's fantastic. He calls his shots. He makes it entertaining. Let's pump our brakes on the media. It just straight up oh, well, this is what happens when you guys give them these guys, and then now they're on the main card against a tough guy, then they don't perform. Well, you didn't say shit when Usman was getting the title shot, and look how great Usman did. So whatever they're doing right. It just sometimes it doesn't work out for the guy you're fighting. That's it.
Okay,
that's the nature of the beast.
I'm going to say this, though. The person you're talking about, I'm not going to bring up a name, but he's a good guy. And he's a very good journalist. He covers the sport well. He does a fantastic job for the people that he works with up where he's at. And look, sometimes it's when you don't watch a promotion so much, and you're heavier into watching, the UFC and stuff. You don't even know some of these guys until all of a sudden, they're there. And it does make a difference. But, I just take a look and say, hey, Roman Faraldo is going to be back, and he's going to be back better than ever. And way to go for Chokely. Man, he just established, man, when I put it all together, I can beat really tough guys, and he beat a really tough guy in Roman Faraldo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, John, not to rag on, and I know that you know who I'm talking about. Not to rag on him too much. I'm going to give him a little bit of love later on, too. When we talk about a Patricio situation, and the cut in the hospital and all that stuff, I'm going to give him a little bit of a shout also, not a bad way, in a good way. He said some things that definitely need to be addressed, and I'm going to try to address those too later on. But look, as we go down this card, how do you say his last name? Aliv, but he trains also with Usman and Habib's team and stuff, and the AK team. So I thought he had a good performance. He's tough, man. He's tough. You could tell there's a little bit of jitters in that first round. He just wanted to do what he could do.
But the elbow strike, the way he threw it, Okay, and this is, look, I say it all the time. Look, ground and pound is a specific skill set. And you watch that elbow thrown by Aliv on Sean Fallon, and it's showing you a intelligent use of a technique in a given situation that caused a cut that stopped the fight. That was beautifully done by Aliv. You got to give him credit. He did exactly what he's supposed to do with his skill set. Great job.
Achilles Mota, I'm not going to say much. Just you got to be more active on top, man. I mean, this crowd went from having fun to just you killed it, brother. You killed it, man. I think
there was 6 finishes before his fight. He was the first one that didn't.
I will say this though. He fought at lightweight. I watched him right before they wrapped his hands on the scale, 188. Holy shit,
Pretty
John.
goddamn big.
That's fucking huge. I don't get how people can do that. I don't understand. I could never do that. Never.
Yeah.
I was never big enough to do that anyways. Even before I started cutting weight, I was never that big.
Yeah, you were never that big before it, but
you got to give this guy. Go ahead.
He actually did use that size because it's Pacheco was very athletic. He's athletic, and Achilles killed his athleticism by putting him on his back throughout the fight, but wasn't able to get the finish. Which, hey man, if you're taking that guy down there, you got to work towards getting that finish. No one minds if you're using the ground and just either pounding the shit out of someone or moving yourself towards submissions where you're even if you don't get it, you're there, trying to apply the submission. No one cares. It's when you just maul someone and you don't go for the heavy ground and pound, or you don't go for the submissions, then people go, why am I watching you?
Next guy, Archie Colgan, fantastic fighter, young and up and coming fighter. He's now 5 or 6-0. I think he's 6-0.
Yep.
Now he's going to be good. I'd like to see maybe someone like him and Achilles Mota fight. Now I know it's a little bit ahead of time because Achilles got a lot more experience, but they're both at lightweight.
Yeah, they are.
Which is kind of weird to me because Archie, he cuts a lot of weight, they say, but he's not a big guy.
No, he's not.
He's like 5'5".
I'll give him 5'6", 5'7".
Okay. So he's as tall. He's as tall as Dalton Rosta. Got it. Dalton Rosta.
Dalton's gonna crush you.
He's gonna fucking just flick me.
Look at Sullivan Colley. You got to give it up, man. Jay Raddick coming off of, he just started out 3-0, 3 big a KO, 2 submissions. The guy is athletic. You can see it coming from Philadelphia. We've seen a lot of really good fighters coming out of that area lately.
Oh, geez. Sean
I
Brady,
watched,
Paul Felder.
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez.
Pat Sabatini, all them.
Yeah. Yep.
I watched Jay. He is explosive. He's an athlete. Dude, Sullivan Colley, he made a mistake, and that mistake, when he went for the take, he tried to jump on the back. It didn't go for him. He fell off, and Sullivan turned around, but that one shot froze Raddick on the ground, and then the next one put him out. Sullivan Colley's proven to be he's going to be a handful for people. He does not mind being in the stand-up. He's got good hands. Coming out of a D1 school like Arizona State as a wrestler, he's good, and he's just getting better, and his confidence is growing. And Jordan Johnson has done a really good job. He's been a big impact on Sullivan Colley in his career. He's done a great job of slowly bringing him up, giving him better talent, and every fight he's getting better and better.
John, like he said, first off, he's not a big guy for 205. He probably should think about 185.
He could.
I think he's going to have to.
Little bit thick in the legs, though.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to start thinking about 185, though, a little bit, because you start getting into that Corey Anderson, you start getting into the Nemkov, and he's going to, and Yoel Romero.
20-pound dip, though, baby. 20 pounds.
I know, but I don't think he cuts a lot of weight at 205, though, to get there. So, he's going to have to start maybe just even kind of just thinking about it, considering it a little bit. But right now, there's no reason to, but just keep it back in your mind, like, hey, I may need to go down to 185. He's not a big guy, but guess what? Like he said, for some reason, man, I don't consider myself a big punching power, but I seem to be touching people and they seem to be going to sleep. Yeah. That's a good problem to have. That's a really good problem to have.
Yep.
So
that's one a lot of people would like to emulate there.
I want to give a little love to Laird Anderson because I used to train him when he was a young kid. I think he was like 10 years old, maybe even younger, 9 or 10. But he used to come to AKA and I would coach. He was take my jiu-jitsu class and my kickboxing class, and I would work out and train with them. They would come train at night in jiu-jitsu. Good kids. Him and Elias, his brother, both good kids. Lowell Anderson's kids. Lowell used to fight in the UFC, fought John Lewis. Good jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah,
Just a great family. Super nice.
Yep, great guy.
Great people. Yep. So congratulations on him. Great performance. Did good stuff. He's a dog. Isaiah Hokic.
Looked
good
fantastic.
Yep, he looked good. He's got to be careful trying to remember that he's a wrestler, not a striker. Let's go, buddy.
I thought he matched it up very well. I love the fact that he's willing to let someone get up so he can use his hands and take them down again and just break their spirit.
Yeah.
I thought he looked great. Also, give it up real quick for Jordan Newman, who's getting his hands. And he came over to me and says, I told you my hands were better. And they are. And you could see that he wanted to use that. He was fighting a guy that came from a boxing background, but he did a great job. And finally, when he took the fight to the ground, he ended it with a rear naked choke. So congratulations to Jordan. He looked really good.
All right, that's going to wrap up our Bellator talk. Let's go right into the next. We're going to talk a little bit of one. We got one. This is the one that I watched. I didn't know there was another one with Shinya Aoki.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they break these things up, man. Like, I've gone on there sometimes. There's just one fight
to
watch
because
on.
It's what they're putting on their Amazon Prime thing, and then they've got their other one. It is what it is.
And so then, like here with Christian Lee versus Abazov, Christian Lee was in a lot of trouble. But he also, when I said, John, we had just talked about him just filling out, like he's finally becoming a man, this and that. But he went from doing that in the lightweight division. See how small his waist is here? His waist is not that small anymore.
No,
he's got a trunk now. His legs are not his legs. His legs and his ass and his hips are wide. Yeah. He is he's gotten a lot better on the feet. I will give him a lot of love. He's gotten way better on the feet.
Way better.
His top pressure, his control, but I mean, I don't want to take anything away from him. But Abasov, when he hit the ground, when he was on his back, it was almost like he didn't know what to do. He was giving up mount right away. He was giving up 3/4 mount right away. I think he was always used to being the one on top if he needed to be, and never really too concerned about being on bottom. But it came through because Christian Lee looked fantastic when he got to that top position. Just put some work in. He took some big shots, got rocked. I think it was in the first round. Was on. I'm surprised the ref didn't stop it. Looking at the ground, like turning away a little bit, kind of backing up. Hands were down by his waist, just backing away. John taking clean shots to the face. I was surprised the ref didn't stop it, but then he buckled down, man, and was able to grab and clinch Abasov. Abasov tired himself out. And this was a jump up for Christian Lee. He went from lightweight, then up. Now this was a welterweight fight, but it's considered a middleweight. It was for the welterweight title, but it was a middleweight fight. Whatever, man. I don't even understand. I don't understand how they're doing their shit. Just call it what it is. Okay.
Confusing. That's what I call it. Confusing.
Yeah. But I got to give this young man a lot of credit, man. He looked fantastic in terms of the things he understood what he had to do to get back on track, John, and win this fight. Great job. He was hitting him with the hands. He was rolling. He was taking some shots, giving some shots. But every time he felt like that he might have been in danger, he was able to clinch, get the fight to the ground, dominate the position, come back up to the feet, land some more striking. Christian Lee's good. He's really good. I don't know if this weight class is for him, though. He didn't look as great and as clean and as crisp as he normally does in terms of his cardio. He looked tired. He was heavy breathing after the first round, all the shots he took.
He's pushing against a lot more weight.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think this weight class is for him. I think he was able to get the win, but he dug deep. He had to dig deep. What's the next fight on here?
We've seen that from his entire family, man. Let's just be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Him, his sister, they're dogs. They got no quit in them. They will not give in. And so that's why he won. Abazov, like you're saying, he is a guy that obviously when he's training, he's not training off his back. He's always the guy that's in the top position, and he's good there. You gotta put yourself in the worst positions possible for the fight. So when they happen in the real thing, it's not a problem for you. But
well, he had a good little hook. You know, he always had that 3/4 hook or whatever it was for the hook. But then as the fight went on and he started getting tired, that hook went away.
Gone.
It wasn't there anymore.
Couldn't even hold that leg.
Then you got Lomain versus Bibiano. Bibiano it's the age. The output is not there anymore. Bibiano
has slowed down, and it's not like he was a great fighter, but
fantastic.
father time takes away, and the first thing that he normally takes away. Not always, because you can see some guys that are older fighters, still they're fast.
Mm-hmm.
But in this circumstance, the things that Bibiano was able to do before, the shots that he was able to land and get away with, they're not landing now. They're not getting as close, and it's making the difference in the fight. And so,
John, what I'm seeing though too is what I'm seeing is that he's carrying a lot of muscle. I know he always has.
Yeah,
he carries so much muscle for such a small guy.
But he's always been big in the upper body.
Yeah.
He's always had that big chest, shoulder, arm. That's who he's been.
He's got enough chest to lend me some. Can I get some chest, please? Because I never had chest. Never. Next fight. This was a fun fight. Oh, I don't know. This one wasn't.
I didn't see that.
No, that one was on. Oh, I was talking about the Rotang fight. Sorry, I didn't see that fight. I didn't see these other two fights. This is what I'm talking about.
Rotang's always fun to watch.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I watched the whole show. These two guys, I didn't see on there.
Yeah,
John, I'm so confused on how they do their format.
It's because they do the MMA with the Muay Thai, Muay Thai with the MMA gloves, but it's Muay Thai, and then they don't put it in their thing.
So they didn't put the Muay Thai fights on. Show the card, man. The one that everyone got to see. Show the card. So I watched the Rotang fight. That was a great fight, man. It was great. I know that I can't remember the other guy's name, but he came up in the weight class, tried to win the title there. He just wasn't big enough. Rotang was just casually just walking him down, just fucking putting heavy shots. But good fight, good stuff. And that's going to wrap up our one talk.
All right.
Let's move on. What else you got for us, Dave?
Yeah, let's touch on this Dillon Danis and KSI fight that was announced for January.
Sorry.
Fucking doo-doo.
Oh, my God. First off, Dillon Danis. You're going to go fight KSI. KSI can box, so I'm not going to take anything away from him. He can box. You just lost a bitch slap fight to fucking a guy that fights at featherweight.
Well, he doesn't walk around at featherweight anymore, John. Let's not pretend like he does.
Dude, Anthony fights at featherweight.
Yeah.
Okay?
Walks around like 190. He's a little thick guy, man. But no, I get what you're saying.
Come on. Look, I love the fact. I really do. I love the fact that Dillon Danis is going to fight KSI. I think that's great because finally, instead of just tweeting shit out or Instagramming something or all the bullshit that he's been doing, you're actually getting into a cage or a ring and you're going to fight.
Is he going to get in there, John? Will he make it to the fight?
All right. Okay. I was just going to say it. So you're going to actually get in there. But are you? Are you really going to make it? Because I'm telling you right now, Josh, KSI lights him up. In a boxing match, he's going to light him up. Which a lot of people are not going to be too unhappy with.
Why? Oh, yes. I thought you said that.
Why?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I don't know, John. I just got to be honest. If he loses this fight, I think I know Bellator still has a contract. Just let him go. He's done. We should have let him go already.
Yes,
and you're saying, oh, we're going to see him fight. Well, if we see him fight, okay, good. I'm happy that he got the fight. Then I'm happy. Yeah. I want to see him fight. But this is not where you should have been trying to fight him. You should have said, "Hey, KSI, let's do this in MMA." Like something along those lines.
Let's see. Let's be honest. Is Dillon Danis a good grappler? Yes.
He's good.
No, he's good. He's a good grappler. I'm not going to sit there and diminish him in any fashion. He is a very good grappler. He's got good jiu-jitsu.
Is
he
still
the best?
Does he still train though, John?
Okay, hold on. I can't tell you. I'm not around him, and so I don't know exactly how hard he's working at it now. But he's still good. Is he the best? No, he's not the best. There's guys that will light him up right now when it comes to the grappling arts. But he's still good, and he can out-grapple a lot of people. Striking wise, dude, I'm sorry. You showed in your fights in MMA, your striking is not good. So, okay, now you're going to go to boxing. So you think that's going to help? At least KSI he's got 2 fights against Logan Paul where, there was a lot of pressure in those fights. And so I just look at it and go, hey, man, this guy has been.
Slap your mate.
Damn it.
There you go.
This guy has been there and done it with a lot of pressure on the line. He's sold out the damn stadium in London for his 2 fights against some 2 guys. Now those guys are nothing, but the fact is, neither is Dillon Danis when it comes to boxing. Go ahead. Say
Dave.
how Dillon's
Dave.
gonna win.
Dave,
Yeah.
next.
So there was really next.
Yeah, next.
Yes,
Okay.
next.
There
I
was
already wasted 2 minutes of my life on that. Okay. Let's go.
so there was a Greg Hardy boxing match against Hasim Rahman Jr.
Yes, there was.
Greg Hardy won the fight.
Greg Hardy mauled him.
I know you guys saw some like Twitter highlights, but just if you have any comments there, and then there was a BKFC as well. I know you guys saw some Twitter highlights too.
Joey Beltran taking on Houston Alexander. This is the only problem I have with BKFC. Stop rehashing MMA fighters as your stars. Guys that are past their primes, guys that have had too many fights overall, be it in MMA and now BKFC. And you guys have some guys that are really good bare knuckle fighters. Stop reusing MMA fighters.
John, I think that I don't think they're trying to make these guys stars. They're putting them in the heavier. They're putting them up at the top because
What
they
they're
have the
trying to
bigger
do
names.
is get name recognition.
Yeah. But ultimately, if these guys are willing to fight and they want to fight and they need the money or they want the money, I get it. But if they're medically cleared, I don't want to see it. But I understand people got to make a living, and then whatever. I mean, BKFC is paying a lot of money. They do a good job of paying their fighters, for considering what you get.
Yep.
So
That's true.
I'm not mad at it. I didn't see the Greg Hardy fight. I was trying to watch real fights.
Greg Hardy put Rahman down, man. Knocked him on his keister. Rahman was... What they say? I want to say, what was the weight difference in this? Because look at Greg Hardy doesn't have to cut when it comes to boxing. Boxing, once you get above that certain weight, it doesn't matter how big you are. There's no 265-pound weight limit. So Greg Hardy came into this. He's a 290-some pound guy, man.
Probably 300.
Yeah, probably. And so there was a big weight difference, but there should have been a skill difference as far as Rahman being the boxer throughout his life. Greg Hardy is boxing now. Obviously his MMA career was mostly based on stand-up, but give it up for Greg Hardy. A lot of people don't like him, and that's okay. That's, everyone's going to have their own personal opinion. I always try to give guys, a second break. It seems to me that most of the people that work with him now, they all tell me that, hey, he's a good guy. He, he made mistakes in the past. He's atoning for those. And so good luck to you, sir. I hope you continue on with your boxing career and you get something good.
Next. Dave, pull up that thing that Patricio posted, please. I put in the news. In our news thing.
Okay.
There was... Because John's here.
The cut.
Yeah, the cut. So I want to have this conversation with you about it, and I want to, we're pushing up on 2 hours now. So I wanted to have this conversation a little bit. Patricio put the video out. They didn't have a doctor on site that could stitch for the Bellator event. Now, look, I've done events before in the past with the UFC where they didn't have a doctor on site that could stitch either.
There you go.
This happens.
Oh yeah.
And also, if the cut is a certain size or the doctor wants to do it at the hospital.
Yes.
Because if they need a plastic surgeon or anything like that, they can call one in. They get it all done there. They can't just do it there. So
and get it done right.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Go ahead. I wish I was able to show the picture that I saw yesterday, but
which one of his cut?
No. Kennedy Njukwa is doing a interview after the fight, and he's sitting there with Karen Bryant and Laura Sanko and Anthony Smith, and I'm looking at the cut over his right eye that had occurred earlier, not in this fight. He didn't get cut, and the stitch job on it. And that's why you look and you go, and that's why sometimes you need different doctors.
Yeah.
Do this, because someone's got this DR in front of their name doesn't mean they're good at something.
Oh yeah. So to wrap, just to kind of give you guys a heads up on, or give you guys some feedback on this. I was in training at AKA and I was wrestling without a mouthpiece. And from that day forward, I never wrestled again or trained again without a mouthpiece ever. Even when I'm just training with fucking white belts, blue belts that I know I can mop all over the floor, I never train with anybody without a mouthpiece. Showing technique, mouthpiece. Doesn't matter. I got a takedown on someone. His head bounced off the wall, off the floor, and came up and hit me back in the mouth. And my fang came all the way through my tooth, or all the way through my lip.
Came through my tooth.
My fang, yeah, this fucking thing right here came all the way through my lip. It came all the way through my lip and split me open. And I went to the doctor, and I was like, "Oh," I said, I knew I needed stitches. I'm like, "How many do you think I need?" She's like, "Oh no, you need a plastic surgeon." She's like, because if I don't bring a plastic surgeon in here, it's going to look like you have a cleft chin. Like you have that cleft lip.
Cleft
palate. She's got, that's what it's going to look like. She's like, I need to bring a plastic surgeon in. So she was able to stitch to a certain point, and then she brought the plastic surgeon in to make sure that it didn't look like that I had a cleft lip.
Yeah.
In this situation, obviously your eye's a little bit different, but there's a lot of little things that can happen in there. If the cut goes it goes this way, which is easier to cut or easier to stitch. Yep. But if it starts to cut down into your eyeball or into your eyelid, you can start to have some problems. Area. Now, every doctor that they have on site, whether it's the UFC, whether it's one, I've worked over in one as well, guys. Okay, and also with Bellator, Strikeforce, Pride. If the doctor does not feel comfortable or they just don't have the equipment they need there for stitches, they will send you to the hospital. That's just the way it goes. And depending on how the cut was done and what it looks like, was it this way? Was it this way? I got lucky when I fought Tony Ferguson because I had Mercedes-Benz cuts all over my head. That's why I'm going bald. See? That's why I'm going bald. The hair can't grow there. I've got so many damn cuts.
So now you're blaming your male pattern baldness on Tony Ferguson.
Let me have my moment, John. John, quit interrupting me. John,
I'm sorry.
Quit interrupting me.
Continue on, sir.
So, but those cuts though, luckily the doctor was willing to do it there, but he was there because he didn't have all the stuff that he needed. He was there for 2 hours. The arena was empty by the time and they were telling him, "Hey, are you almost done? Are you almost done?" Because it took him so long because he didn't have an assistant handing him the tools. He didn't have everything that he needed. He was using these little to-go packets for stitches, something that a med person would have like on the side of the road. So it was something that he was just makeshifting as he went. Otherwise, I could have got it done a lot sooner had I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
So those are all things that you got to keep in your mind. But I do think we should always have a surgeon on site, or not a surgeon, but a doctor on site that's willing to do the stitches. From what I understand, Patricio was pretty upset. If you read the comments, the Illinois commissions don't serve for shit. Not a single doctor on the side to stitch my brother. Now we spent hours here, 5 hours, I believe is what he says, and still waiting to see a doctor. Bellator needs to fix this problem. It's a shitty situation. No one wants to go to the hospital after the fight, period, because it normally means you lost. And on top of that, you don't want to be in a hospital at all until 5 a.m. That's the other thing, especially in a state or area that you've never been, and no one wants to be there. Shitty situation to be in, but this is the fight game. This is the fight game.
It is the fight game, and all I can tell you is this: I can take you back through too many situations where the UFC was somewhere and that place says we don't stitch, and they don't have a doctor. If you look now, the UFC brings Dr. Jeff Davidson. He's their medical supervisor, or if he's not going to be there, they bring another doctor. They usually try to use Dr. Who as their stitching guy because he's a plastic surgeon and he does a fantastic job on guys. And you take a look at the Diaz brothers. Take a look at Nick Diaz. Nick actually had to have plastic surgery on scar tissue because he'd been stitched so many times, and the actual stitch job is not good. And this is what I was talking about with Kennedy when I was looking at his eye. I go, Jesus Christ, who the hell stitched that? It's horrible. Okay. And because you are a doctor doesn't mean you're good at something. And there's times that you're going to want to wait longer for that right doctor, the person that really knows what they're doing. This situation, and it's happened, Illinois, as far as the doctors, what happens is you'll get places that the doctor, and you people need to understand this. Look, the doctors in MMA, in boxing, ringside physicians, they're putting their butts on the line to be there because they don't get malpractice insurance for what they're doing. It doesn't cover what they're doing as a ringside physician. So a lot of them will not stitch based upon they have a fighter, they stitch him, and then the fighter goes and gets cut again and says, the doctor in my last one, he screwed up my thing, and they sue him. They have nothing to cover themselves. And so a lot of them will say, I'm not stitching anybody. And this is, it's a horrible game battle between the two. There are places where the doctors are covered by the commission, and so they do stitch. The problem with this is waiting 5 hours in a Chicago hospital is too long. For stitches and stuff. I don't blame him. I don't blame Patricio for being upset that his brother had to wait there that long. And the one thing that Bellator needs to address, they need to address this the same as the UFC addressed it, in that if we're going to a location that we know we have problems in getting the fighter stitched in the back based upon the doctors don't do it there, we need to bring somebody that will. We need to bring somebody that will take care of it. It could be that we bring someone, there's no cuts. They don't have to do anything the entire night. Yeah. Okay. But we have someone bringing them. That doesn't mean you have to bring them from, California or Nevada, or it could be someone from, the state of Illinois that you hire to be back there to do that job if it needs to be covered.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what every promotion should understand is that these guys are traveling from Brazil.
Yep.
They don't know where the fuck they're at. If you were to drop them off on the side of the road, they'd be like,
it's a foreign country.
Where do I go to the airport? Wait, how do I get and English is not their first language. The fact that they speak any English at all,
but they're damn good, especially when they go, fuck you.
Yes, fuck you.
I love it.
And this is one brother who loves his other brother, and they both are, and they, obviously he was upset because that's his brother. And his brother's, in a vulnerable position right now. Obviously the family's probably upset because he just lost. But all of these things, you just start worrying about your family, start worrying about your brother. And so they are, in this scenario, I agree with you, John, that we do have to do a better job of making sure there's always a physician on site that's willing to do stitches. And just because these guys, when they travel across the world, anywhere, like if I had fought in, in London, or if I had fought in, Dublin, I'd be a little concerned. Like, okay, who's stitching me? Who's doing the job? I mean, I don't know how good these doctors are in this country.
Yeah, wait till you go to other places.
And that's what I'm saying. If you go to Beijing, if you're in China, if you're in Kuala Lumpur, like some of these one fighters, I did commentary for some of these fights. Like, sure, Singapore is great, but I've been commentated some fights in some areas. I'm like, what in the, like, I'm not going to a doctor here. I'm not going to the hospital here to get stitched. Like, if I was a fighter, I'd be like, damn, this is a little scary to me. Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, different parts of China that we went to. I was like, if I'm a fighter, I'm a little nervous about getting knocked out here or needing to go to the hospital. Just my own personal opinion.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our show. Go to WayneInPodcast.com, pick up some of our merch. Guys, we've got some big news coming for our merch department. So let's keep our fingers crossed we get it done this week. And if we can get it done this week, it'll be ready to launch by Black Friday. You guys, there'll be a lot of new stuff, a lot of new gear available for you guys all across the table. Not just coffee mugs, hoodies, and sweaters, and T-shirts, and all the other stuff. Sweatshirts.
Say thank you, John.
Wow.
No, I'm going to say it. Guys, I went and I purchased a bunch of stuff off of our website and got some stuff, and I just don't like the quality. So I'm going big time. We are going to have the highest quality stuff you can have. I want you to be happy with what you get. I want you to wear it proudly, and I want you to be able to wear it for years. Mm-hmm. So if you only get one, that's okay. You can wear it for years, but it's going to be super high quality. You might have to pay a little bit more, but it's going to be great stuff.
Yeah, I'd really have something I really enjoy wearing. So, all righty. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our talk. And Dave.
Me?
Yeah, take us away, Dave. Never mind. John, take us away.
Yeah, let's hear Dave take us away. Dave, take us away.
Dave, take us away. Come on.
And for everybody out there,
Oh, he's got to lower
do
the voice.
something
Look at
nice
that.
for someone, and we will see ya.